be about the coach. It must be about the client. And if everyone's on board with that, then the client has an outstanding experience no matter who they train with or who they work with.
Welcome to episode 230 of the industry's leading business podcast for fitness owners and managers. Each week we invite business experts, coaches, authors and owners from around the world to share their expert advice with you, the FBP family. This month's interviews are brought to you by our podcast partner, Precore. Through experience design, Precore delivers best-in-class products, top-ranked service, unparalleled expertise and resources needed to help facility operators win. To find out more, visit precore.com or click on the link in today's show notes. Hi everyone, and a very warm welcome along to this week's show. Today I'm joined by Elias Scarr, the Membership Director for Results Fitness and the Sales and Communication Coach for Results Fitness University, which is a consulting group for gyms worldwide. Elias has over 20 years of sales experience in the service industry and has presented for many organisations, including IHRSA, the NSCA, and Perform Better. Our focus for this week's show is onboarding new members, and specifically, Elias walks us through essential steps of a customer journey in the first 30 days. We chat about new member gifts, gestures, and actions that make an impact. Elias shares universal language that connects your team to your members, communication in the 30 to 90-day growth period. We chat about two things that you must avoid doing during the onboarding period. And last but not least, Elias leaves us with 3 ways that a club can ensure a new member has an unforgettable fitness journey. We are about to hear this week's interview, but first, a big thank you to our podcast partner, Precore. Precore knows that service and support rank high on the list when you're choosing fitness equipment. They strive to provide the best customer service to you through taking a thoughtful, genuine approach. Precore equipment is designed to be easy to use and simple to maintain, and their service team is happy to help you over the phone, via email, and in person. Find out why Precore has the best customer service in the fitness industry. Just visit precore.com/customer-support. Enjoy this week's show with my special guest, Elias Scarr. Elias, welcome along. Thank you for joining me on the show today.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So, Elias, the area that we're really looking at today is what it is that we have to do every time a new member joins our club. And I think so often in our sales training with our team, we focus on what happens before that new member signs. But it's actually what happens after they join that has a huge effect on our member retention and on the longevity of that member staying with our club. So can you actually step us through an ideal customer journey in the first 30 days that someone joins our club?
Absolutely. So you're absolutely right. The whole point of what we're doing when we sit down and sit with somebody is to convince them that we can change their life, right? And we make this promise that I can help you and my team can help you and my coaches and everyone's in your corner to help you accomplish what you want to accomplish. And then it's on us in that first 30 days to really prove that we can keep that promise. And so it starts with, what kind of promise are you making? And for me, day one of that 30 days is just before the sale is completely closed. So that very first step, one of my favorite things that we do that sets the tone of what your experience is going to look like is the minute they agree that, yes, I want to sign up for training, I'm ready to go, is we set their first training appointment right away. It's the first thing that happens. So before we take a credit card, before we sign an agreement, before we do any contracts or anything like that, we set their first training appointment to let them know this is what the most important thing is. I promised that we were going to take your training seriously, that it was important to us. I'm going to show you that by setting your appointment first. After we do that, we get right into here's what to expect out of your first session. It's sort of like when you're in school and you write a paper, right? You tell them what you're going to tell them, then you tell them, and then you tell them what you told them. Yep. And it's the same thing here. We're going to tell them, here's what to expect. So when they come to that first session, they have an idea of this is what it's going to feel like. We set the expectations early. For example, we'll tell a client, look, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's probably going to be about a 6 because we want to see how you operate under weight, how you operate under load, and really ramp you up in your training and program. That brings anxiety down and gives them one less thing to be afraid about for their first coaching experience. Because for many, it's going to be the first time they ever work with a coach. Just want to let them know what's going on. The next thing we do is we set them up with a kickstart kit. And that's super important. So right out of the gate, they get everything we want them to have to feel successful. So they get like a sample of one of our nutrition bars. They get a supplement. They get a coupon for a nutrition consult. They get essentially, here's what you need in your first month to be successful. And this does 2 things. One, it allows us to give upfront. They get a t-shirt. They get a tote bag. They get everything that says, I'm a member of my gym. I'm a member of, for us, I'm a member of Results Fitness, and I'm proudly going to wear that everywhere. What it also does is it starts to set the habit. Wear your shirt to the gym. Come get shakes at the gift bar, at the shake bar. Make sure you're taking your supplements. So it's easier to set those habits when you give them everything up front. We're essentially still building that equity on our scale. So it constantly feels like we're giving the most. And that's still, I mean, this is before they've even walked out of the door of the sales session. Then if we can, we like to set a reoccurring schedule. Here's what your training schedule looks like. Let's iron that out. And then we move into that 30-day experience. What happens in that first 30 days? So they go home, they have all these goodies, they have the Kickstart kit. They feel like everything they could possibly need to win, to succeed, they have. When they come in for their first training session, the coach greets them at the door. And one of the important things that we do here that's important, especially for somebody's first session, is that we do semi-private training. And you can do this in group training, semi-private, or even individualized training. But make sure that you greet that person as they walk in the doors. And I was expecting you. I'm waiting for you. I'm prepared for you. It's like walking into a restaurant and going in and seeing a reserved sign with your name in it on the table. All those little touches matter. That says you're the most important thing to me right now. I mean, especially as adults, how often do we don't often get to feel like I'm the single most important thing right now? Because so much of what, right? So much of what we do as adults is making someone else important, or work important, or kids, or spouse. And no one ever takes that step to say, you are the most important thing right now. So when you can do that at the gym, they're not going to get that anywhere else.
So what else do we need to know when it comes to that first 30-day journey?
So in that first training session, one of the things that's really important is that every single staff member at our gym has an active role to play. The person at the front desk greets the client coming in the door by their name, says hello, welcomes them. The coach says hello and welcomes them. The salesperson reappears, and that's really, really important for the salesperson to touch base again, and that person not to feel like, oh, well, they sold me and now they're done and I'll never hear from them again. So everybody gets to touch base with that client as they walk in. And then on that first day, this actually happens after the sales close. So after the sales close, our team writes a UROC note. And that UROC note is just a very simple note that says, welcome to the Results Fitness family. We're so excited you're here. And it's signed by every staff member in the gym. And that gets sent out the first day. So a lot of times, even before they come for their first session, they just get a card signed by everybody that says, welcome, we're so excited to have you here. It's just a little touch. And this is where the start of what's important comes to matter, right? So if you wanted to learn to play piano, 1 hour a week, 1 day a week is not going to be as effective as 20 minutes a day, every day a week. And that's how you want to look at your contact. Consistent, often, short, and precise. So when we do that and we're regular with that, that first one is the UROC card. As they get into week 2, they'll get a good job call and a good job text from our coach and from the front desk person. Even our front desk person is going to reach out and say, hey, it was so lovely to meet you. Can't wait to see you when you're in next. So everyone playing that active role. So in the first day in that first week, it's all about consistent contact. When we get into week 2, we have a gift bag prepared. And the gift bag has a gift certificate to the shake bar, which is, for us, reinforcing a behavior we want them to have. We give them a gift certificate. They get to come in and have their protein shake. And we want to remind them, this is what you're supposed to do after your workout. And we believe in it so much, we're going to give you the first few. Also in the gift bag is a ceramic coffee mug from Results Fitness. And this is what I want you guys to think about your swag. Even if you can't operate on a level 10 where you have a tote bag, a t-shirt, a coffee cup, it almost doesn't matter as long as you're giving something. And here's how we want to think about it. The reason we don't give out a gym bag is because gym bags go to the gym. We give out a tote bag is because a tote bag goes everywhere else. When we give them a ceramic coffee mug, I'm not going to give them a water bottle because the water bottle goes to the gym. I want them to have a coffee mug that they have their coffee and they see Results Fitness first thing in the morning every day. This is something I want to be like woven into a regular part of their life. When we get into week 3, they get a one-on-one follow-up from the coach. So the coach will reach out, send another handwritten note. So they've gotten a handwritten note from everybody. They've gotten a call. They've gotten a text. Now they get a handwritten note from the coach that says, wow, you've done an incredible job in your first 2 weeks. Let's check in and see how everything's going. When they come in for the next session, the coach says, let's review your last 2 weeks and let's reassess and find out how we're going and see whether we can ramp it up even further or even faster. By the time we get to week 4, they get a program review and a long-term review. So at that point, we start to think about special invites. They've been training with you for a month. And if you have other things going on, like for us at Results Fitness, we have what we like to call what's next. And the premise is you've given me this body that can now do things and wear things that it couldn't wear before, do things it couldn't do before. What do I do with it? If you can answer that question, now we're starting to set up long-term memberships where people are with you 3 to 7 years, out of their life, and hopefully even longer, because now we can plug them into different communities like the OCR community or the 5K community or the tactical strength challenge community. So now we start to have that conversation of, look, you're starting to get athletic. Let's do something with that.
Elias, I'm loving everything that I'm hearing, and I just want to reiterate for everyone what you said in regards to those contact pieces, because you said right back at the very beginning that even before they had officially signed on the dotted line, you were giving them that kickstart kit, the kind of goodie bag or the tote bag that had all those little items in there, so that you've got that first point of connection. Then you've got your good job call and your text, so you've got another point of connection. Then you've got the second tote bag that you're giving them, and you call and check in. There's 2 things that I love about this. One is that you are giving them something tangible, and I love what you said about having the branding actually immersing with their life outside of the gym environment and having them see the logo or think about the experience outside of that environment. And I also love that you are connecting the member with multiple different people within the gym environment, because we all know that unfortunately the nature of many of our businesses is that we do have staff turnover. And so I'm imagining that one of the motivations behind introducing them to the sales manager, the welcome desk person, the group fitness manager, all of those different touch points, is that they're not just connected to one single person in your gym. They are connected to many people within your gym. So if it happens that one of those people leave and are no longer employed by you, it's okay, because Joe, your new member, already has connections and contacts with all these other people in your facility. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. And the other important part about that is directly tied into the language of our team as well. I mean, one of the things that we constantly train, right? Our coaching team, as most gyms do, they're working on continuing education, and every coach has got 30 different kettlebell certifications, but how much time are we spending on what kind of universal language are we using? So tied into that is our team uses at the least amount possible of I and me and my language, and uses we and our and let's. So rather cohesive team language. So even when somebody says, hey, welcome to Results Fitness, we're excited you're here, because the language used by the coaches and the staff is about team, it becomes less about the individual coach. And I find that really, really important, because it can't be about the coach. It must be about the client. And if everyone's on board with that, then the client has an outstanding experience no matter who they train with or who they work with.
Okay, Elias, so we've covered off the first 30 days. So let's move on now between 30 and 90 days. What do we need to know in that time period?
Okay, so the 30 to 90 days is really that growth period where they're still hot off the first 30 days, and we can really make some change. And so rather than taking the pedal, your foot off the pedal, we actually want to hit the gas. And this is where we ramp up communication even further. So you want a systemized process where every single one of your contacts, members, is getting a contact at least every month, and if you can, once every other week. That's just reaching out saying, hey, great job today. whether it's with a text, any kind of outside contact. If you have a team of people, you can share it with a team. For us, a coach, a front desk person, and a manager reaches out to every member at least once a month. And it's just to make contact, say, hey, how's it going? How's your training going? Great job today. It was fun to see you in the gym today. The reason we go so overboard with these light, quick contacts is that it is the easiest way to over-deliver. Communication is the single easiest way to over-deliver. No one is going to get mad about getting too many good job texts. At least I couldn't imagine getting upset of getting a good job text every day of saying, wow, you're really killing it today. So we really want to systemize that. So it's as simple as printing out a list of your clients each month and just checking them off to make sure no one gets lost. Everybody gets reached to outside of their normal training hours. And as we get in towards to the end of that 90 days, that's really where we start to make that sort of hard push into plugging them into one of the smaller communities, one of the small groups that says, hey, why don't you come and try the OCR workout? Love to have you there. Or let's talk about tactical strength challenge. It really has to do with making their community even smaller, connecting them with other members. We've sort of become a dating service in that 30 to 90 days of who can I connect you with in the gym so you like being here? Because it's really what the first 30 days is about is I just want you to like it here. Mm-hmm. The following 30 to 90 days is I want you to feel like you accomplished something special here. So we transition in that sort of tone and mood of what is special about how you train and how can I make you feel more special? How can I set you up for success where you get a medal or you get a certificate or you get an award or things that, again, adults don't normally experience throughout the rest of throughout their lives.
So we've looked at the first 30 days, we've looked at the first 90 days. How about then if we're looking at that first year that we have a member with us? What type of actions do we need to think about and what do we need to do to ensure that we have a long-term member in our business?
So in that first year, what's really, really important is that we must keep our promise. So the regular contacts that happen in the first 90 days, those have to continue to happen. So if you're reaching out to every client once a month or twice a month, depending on how many clients you have, that stuff keeps going throughout the year. So we never really take anything away. We consistently add communication as we go, and then we keep that progress, keep that promise as we go. Another important thing is to recognize all the little things. If they have a birthday coming up, we make sure that we take their picture with a little marquee that says, might say, happy birthday, Elias. We're so happy you're here. They get their picture taken with a coach and that goes up on Facebook. Anything that they can celebrate or that we can celebrate, we'll celebrate. At their halfway mark for their birthday, they get a card in the mail that says, happy half birthday. And they get to come in and get half off any supplement. Right? So it's really just looking for any little thing you can celebrate. And a lot of it has to do with what kind of community are you building at the gym? What kind of events are you having, whether you're having get-togethers, whether you're having special lifting events, or you host for example, we host an in-house powerlifting meet, right? It's not sanctioned, but they come in, people get to experience it and try it. And even people that aren't powerlifters get invites. So you just invite to come and see and come check it out and come watch and be part of the Results Fitness team, be a part of the Results Fitness family. The trick with those events is a lot of times we'll send out an email or put up a social media post, which works okay, but there's nothing that works better than a personal invite or a personal call. And that's really what the tone is throughout that year. If I call you and I say, hey, it's Elias, we've got a powerlifting meet coming up in about 3 months. I feel like you could be ready for this. Let's do it. Or, hey, we've got a powerlifting meet in a week and you've got to come check this out. Your friends are lifting and you got to come see them do it. So that one-to-one interaction it literally just cannot be beat. It's the best way to get people to show up. And the reality is the more you can get people to show up to events outside of training and the more you can get people to spend money, the more likely you are to keep them on as a client. That's the other missing ingredient is you absolutely want to be striving for profit. If they get their supplements from you, if they get their shakes from you, if they're bought in to everything else you do, you'll keep them. I guarantee you right now that any person that tracks their information, they will find that the people they've had the longest have also spent the most money by a long shot. So those things are very much related. So getting buy-in on everything else you do, everyone wins. The gym makes more money, trainers get paid, you get more toys for the gym, the client gets the results they're looking for, and you get to keep them for longer and longer and longer.
Elias, as you've been talking through this 30, 90, and then a full year kind of view of a membership journey, there's 3 words that keep coming into my head. And the first one is communication. The second one is contact and constant contact. And the third one is community. And I feel as though all of those elements are instrumental to the relationship that our member has with our gym and with the people within our gym environment. And I want to thank you for giving us that kind of such clarity around that picture and walking us through all of those touch points that we have the opportunity to do with our member to ensure that they have a great member life cycle with us and hopefully are staying with us for the long term. What I'd like to do now is to actually kind of flip this on its head. And I was wondering if there's any major things that we should actually avoid doing when a new member joins our gym.
Yeah, absolutely. We touched on one a little bit, and the one you have to absolutely avoid is guilt language. We're inclined when somebody walks in the door and they haven't been there for 2 weeks is to say, "Where have you been? I've missed you." And our intent is to say, "I have missed having you around." But what they hear is, "I haven't been in and I'm paying for something I'm not using." And every time they come in and they hear that language, they are reminded that they are paying for something they're not using. And so we have to be very, very conscious of it's all good all the time. When they come in and like, "God, I haven't been in 2 weeks," the language has to be immediately get them to turn it around. You know what? But I'm glad you're here. You're here now. Let's get in. Let's get some training. "Oh, I haven't been really, really good with my food." The good part is you get to start again tomorrow. Like constantly helping them change their language and avoid guilt and pressure. We don't function that way anymore. I mean, Instagram and social media is so loaded with you're your own special, unique thing and positive messages and vibes that anytime we go counter to that, it just builds a wall and it makes it difficult to communicate with people. So avoid any kind of guilt-laden, "Where have you been, missing you" language. That would be one of the big ones. Second would be we have to be conscious about asking for more. And one of the things we have to remind ourselves is that our clients are busy, and asking for more also leads to guilt. So our clients are busy as in they may really only be able to give you 2 hours a week. And we might want to tell them, okay, in order to get the best results, you really should be coming in 4 days a week. And look, you got to get on that chicken and broccoli every meal, and you need to give up your glass of wine every night. And we get into that mode of we want them to do well so bad that we tell them, here's the list of things that you need to change everything about your lifestyle in order to do. And again, it's just laden with it's too much. It's too much. I can't do it with everything else I have to do. So on that same note, I would be cautious of each time you ask for something more or ask them to do more or participate more, you just have to be real conscious of where they're at.
Elias, they are fantastic recommendations of things that we should avoid. So we are now into our Fitbispiration. So let's wrap up today with 3 ways that a club can ensure that a new member has an unforgettable, positive start to their fitness journey.
Okay. Number 1, be fun to be around. It's just simple. Be fun to be around. I have to like being around you if I'm going to spend the next 7 years with you 3 days a week. If I'm going to spend probably almost as much time with you as I do my spouse, I have to like being around you. So be fun to be around. Number 2, keep your promise. If you say you're going to do something, you must follow through. You have to be unshakable with your consistency in keeping your promise. And if you promise results and following that protocol, you make sure that happens. Delivering results is still the single best or most important thing you have to do. And then number 3, go overboard with communication. It is the easiest way to exceed expectations.
Elias, I love all of those takeaways. This has been such a valuable time that we've spent together this morning. And I think there's 2 ways that I look at this. One, for all of you out there that already have their member journey scripted out and you've got all of your touch points, then use this as an opportunity to just go back and cross-check what it is that you're doing. Are there any tips that Elias shared with us today that maybe you can tweak in your existing customer journey? And for those of you that really haven't scripted this out before and haven't really thought about this level of detail, then here is a fantastic chance for you to really maximize your relationship with your members and start to bring these little actions into place so that it means that your members are staying with you for longer, they're more connected to you, and you're really kind of adding value to their experience as a member or as a client of your fitness business. So Elias, I am just so grateful and thrilled that you could join us on the show today. Thank you so much for being a guest with us.
Oh, thank you for having me. I had an outstanding time, and I really hope that everything that I shared with you helps you help more people.
MyZone is a wearable technology platform that leverages personal goal setting, gamification, and social platforms to motivate your members. To find out more, go to myzone.org.
Pre-Core Quickfire 5.
This week's Pre-Core Quickfire 5 guest is Gemma Addison, the Head of Performance and Growth at Deakin University. Gemma, welcome along. It is great to have you with us here today.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Now, we're starting off with the Pre-Core Quickfire 5. So tell everyone, why do you do what you do?
I think because I'm a creative nerd.
And what's one ritual that helps you become better at what you do?
I think one ritual is generally having rituals. And for me, my routine always starts with going to the gym and doing a weight session 4 days a week. And I feel that sets me up for the day and sets me up for the week, and it sets me up for life.
A lot of us can relate to that. That's a great one. And are there any apps, systems that you use to stay in control of your workload?
For me, that is my pencil case filled with coloured pens and a notepad that I use to plan out my week, plan out my days, and perhaps that's the creative person in me that loves having the colour coding, but I just find that gives me a sense of control over my time.
Great one. And are there any books, podcasts or blogs that you would recommend, and why?
I think what I'm reading at the moment and quite enjoying is a book called Dual Transformation, and I'm going to be terrible and completely blank on the author, but I think one of the reasons I'm getting quite value out of that is because it really does, I guess, challenge the way that large enterprise businesses can look at transformation. So I think that's quite interesting, and I think it's really great for people who currently own a business to question how they become entrepreneurs to actually innovate and transform things within their business rather than going out and creating a new one.
Dual Transformation. Well, we will make sure that we look it up and pop the link in today's show notes for everyone. And just give us a really quick insight into the topic that we're going to be focusing on during your main interview.
Today, we're going to be talking through lessons learned in data-driven marketing.
Excellent. Well, Gemma, I'm really excited to chat to you next week. So thank you for joining us today for the Pre-Core Quickfire 5.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for joining me for this week's show, and of course a reminder that all the resources and the links for today's episode can all be found at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. I want to thank our foundation partner, Active Management. And as a listener to the show, you have a special opportunity to work with JT from Active Management. That means you can get one free session when you buy one coaching session. No matter where you are in the world, technology allows him to work with you. Just go to activemgmt.com.au/FBP family and work with JT to get more people moving and moving more often. That is one free session when you buy one coaching session, and it's exclusive to you. So one more time, go to activemgmt.com.au/FBP family. Thank you once again for joining me today, and remember, what you leave behind is not what's engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others.